A rusty box pulled from the sea just rewrote history. Not a myth, not a guess. A real ancient machine. It's over 2,000 years old, and it's smarter than you think. Gears, calendars, planet trackers. The Antikythera mechanism is the oldest computer on Earth. Very few of these have ever been found, and it's likely that ship owners and navigators in ancient Greece once used them. Now, scientists say its mystery is solved. But that's not the good news. The real shock is what that answer means. It changes everything. Lost knowledge, vanished genius. How did we go from this to the Dark Ages? Joe Rogan and Graham Hancock asked the same question. And their answer? It's chilling. The discovery started with a shipwreck that led to pure shock. In 1901, a group of sponge divers were searching the waters near a small Greek island called Antikythera. Just another day at sea. They weren't looking for history. They were looking for sponges to sell. But then something strange caught their eye. Beneath the waves was the wreck of an ancient Roman ship. It had been resting on the ocean floor for over 2,000 years. Inside the wreck, treasure, statues, coins, jewelry. But one object didn't shine. It looked like a lump of rock and metal, cracked, rusty, ugly. So they ignored it. But in 1902, an archaeologist named Valerio Stais took a closer look. That's when everything changed. From 1900 to 1902, a major expedition was launched from Greece to recover everything they could from the wreck. And then Stais spotted something unbelievable. Gears, real gears, inside a chunk of ancient bronze. People thought it had to be a mistake, but it wasn't. It was real. When it was first found, it wasn't even recognized as anything important. It just looked like a corroded lump about the size of a large dictionary. But this object wasn't a statue, it was a machine. Later named the Antikythera mechanism, it would become known as the world's first analog computer. A spectacular device. An analog computer, not digital. It used wheels and gears, built entirely by hand. And here's the wildest part. We wouldn't see anything like it again for another 2,000 years, not until the 1800s. Built by ancient Greeks sometime between 150 and 100 BCE, it was the first computer ever created. It could track the sun, the moon, planets, eclipses, even the timing of the Olympic Games. It wasn't big, about the size of a shoebox, but it held 30 bronze gears, some tiny, with teeth so precise that modern engineers were stunned. This wasn't a toy. It wasn't decoration. It was real technology, 2,000 years ahead of its time. And just like that, history cracked open. Something didn't add up. The story we were told was wrong. The ancient world was far more advanced than we believed. But that raised even more questions. What else had they made, and why did it all disappear? That's where the mystery deepens. What was the mechanism, really? At first, no one knew. The Antikythera mechanism was too advanced, too strange. Scientists studied it for years, decades passed. But the mystery stayed locked inside those corroded gears. Then came X-rays, CT scans, modern tools that let us see through the bronze without breaking it. And what they found shocked everyone. The mechanism was a machine built to track the sky. You could turn a small crank on the side, and as it moved, the gears inside turned dials. Those dials pointed to the positions of the sun, the moon, and even the 5 planets known in ancient times: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. It could predict eclipses, show the phases of the moon, track the lunar calendar, and even map the zodiac signs. On the back were spirals used to count years and cycles. One gear had exactly 223 teeth. That matches the Saros cycle, a pattern ancient astronomers used to predict eclipses. This wasn't lucky guessing. This was real science. There was even a tiny ball inside, half black and half white, that spun as the moon moved, showing its phase. It's like someone took a planetarium, shrunk it down, and hid it in a shoebox. And here's the wildest part. It worked. The design was accurate. More accurate than anything else built for 1,000 years after. This wasn't just clever, it was genius. A level of precision that forces us to ask hard questions. How did they know this? How did they build it? We thought ancient people were simple, but this device proves they were anything but. And now, it's time to talk about who noticed that first on a podcast known for strange truths. Joe Rogan and Graham Hancock's reaction. Fast forward to April 23, 2019. Joe Rogan is recording episode number 1284 of The Joe Rogan Experience. In his studio across from him sits Graham Hancock, the guy known for diving deep into lost civilizations and ancient mysteries. They start talking about something strange, something forgotten, something pulled from the bottom of the sea, the Antikythera mechanism. Graham calls it an ancient Greek computer, not a metaphor, but a real device with gears, dials, and a purpose. He says it tracked planets, predicted eclipses, helped sailors find their way, and maybe even told them where they were on Earth, like an ancient GPS. Joe leans in. You can almost hear his mind spinning. He's amazed, shocked even. He says what we're all thinking. How did they build this over 2,000 years ago? They talk about how advanced it is, how it shouldn't exist, and how no other machine like it shows up for over 1,000 years. It doesn't fit our timeline, and it doesn't fit the story we tell about history. Then the mood shifts. Because if something this smart existed that long ago, what else was lost? Graham suggests the idea of forgotten knowledge, that maybe we once had brilliant minds, tools, and even machines, and then something wiped it all away. War, disaster, collapse. Who knows? Joe doesn't argue. He's in. You can almost hear him whisper, "That's insane, man. It's not just about the gears anymore. It's about the big picture, what the mechanism means, what it says about us." And that's where it gets a little dark, because now the mystery is solved. But the truth might hurt. You'd think solving a mystery this big would feel like a win. Scientists finally understand how the Antikythera mechanism worked. We figured it out. Game over, right? But something about it doesn't feel good. It feels heavy, like a punch to the gut. Because now we know how brilliant the ancient Greeks really were. We know they built machines that could track the stars, follow the moon, and even accurately map the sky. We're not guessing anymore. We've seen the gears, counted the teeth, matched them to real astronomical cycles. It works. All of it works. And that's the problem. Why didn't it change the world? If they had this tech level over 2,000 years ago, why didn't it lead to something bigger? More machines? An early version of the computer? The telescope? The clock? It didn't. After the Antikythera mechanism, the trail goes cold for over 1,000 years. We see nothing like it. No upgrades, no copies. It's like this one machine shows up and then disappears. That's what hits so hard. Because it means we lost something. Maybe even everything. Maybe there were other devices, perhaps even smarter people. But something happened. A war, a fire, a collapse. And the knowledge was gone, buried, forgotten, wiped out. That's why Graham Hancock calls it a warning. It's not just a cool gadget. It's proof that human progress isn't a straight line. We rise, we fall, we forget. So yeah, the mystery is solved. But now we're left with a bigger question. How did we let it slip away? The science behind the discovery. For a long time, the Antikythera mechanism was just a broken puzzle, a mystery in 82 corroded pieces. It sat in a museum, too fragile to touch and too damaged to understand. But then technology caught up, and the real story began to unfold. In 2005, a group of scientists launched a full investigation. They used X-ray CT scans, like the ones in hospitals, but more powerful. These scans could see through the metal without breaking it. They found layers of gears, tiny inscriptions, and patterns that didn't make sense until they did. Suddenly things clicked. They saw 30 gears packed inside, some with tooth counts that matched known astronomical cycles. One gear matched the eclipse cycle exactly. Another tracked Venus over hundreds of years. It wasn't random, it was precise. Every gear and every turn had a purpose. Researchers teamed up with experts from all over the world. They built digital models and 3D reconstructions. They even found faded Greek writing etched into the surface, words no one had seen for thousands of years. Some of it described the movement of planets, some listed cycles. It was a blueprint hiding in plain sight. In 2021, a team from University College London revealed the most complete model yet. They showed how the whole mechanism worked, every dial and pointer. It was a full cosmic calculator built centuries before modern science. And here's the kicker. It wasn't fantasy. It was real. We've built working copies that prove it. But one question still haunts scientists. If they could build this, why did no one else? The Vanishing Act. Why there was no sequel. This is where things get strange. We now know the Antikythera mechanism worked. We know it was real. We've rebuilt it. We've proven the math. So why don't we see more of them? Why is there no second version, no upgrades, no other machines like it in history? It's like someone hit delete. Some experts say that war destroyed the knowledge. Around 146 BCE, the Romans took over Greece. Cities were burned, libraries destroyed. Maybe the people who built these machines were killed. Maybe their workshops were lost. If no one had passed the knowledge down, it could have ended in a single generation. Others think the materials were the problem. Bronze was expensive and valuable.